welcome to Clear Passage Prayer Line. Today is August 11th. We've started a new series I'm calling Smart Women, and it's two parts. It might be more than two parts, but I want to bring out some points. And as a woman, as a human being, this is not exclusively for women, but as human beings, there's different kinds of smart. There's country smart, street smart, political smart, etiquette smart, just brain power, cerebral smart, scientific smart, the hidden figures smart. There's all kinds of smart. So and your journey was uniquely designed for God to get you prepared for where you are now. So don't despise small beginnings. Don't despise your country background. Don't despise anything that would define you, where you would be in a position where somebody would look down their nose. Let me show you how deep we're going to take this. Don't be afraid of the word hoe. If you was a hoe, okay. You don't have to go, you don't have to deny your past. Let God use everything in your past. If you were an adulterer, if you were this or you were that, whatever it was, own it and get past it. And when somebody calls you out of your name, they call you this and that and want to call you fat or stupid or whatever else they want to call you, your response should be, and you got something else? Because that didn't move me. I'm still moving forward. If I'm Nehemiah, I'm standing on the wall. If I'm Harriet Tubman, I'm going back and get some more slaves. If I am whoever I am, I'm going to be that thing, and I'm going to keep it pushing. Own it and keep going. We're going to talk about Rahab, we're going to talk about Abigail, and we're going to talk about some current superheroes. And own your past and keep it going. Don't worry. Don't let people talk you off your position. Smart women. I hope you enjoy the series. In Rahab's world. So Rahab, she knew about the Israelites. She knew about Joshua. She knew that they were going to come and take over. Now, how did she get that information? Because Rahab was running a house of ill repute, and men were coming in there, and because sometimes people, like I told you, when people disregard you, they'll talk around you, not thinking that you mean anything. They talk around, they'll just say stuff because you're not, who do you know to repeat it to, which people didn't realize. Rahab knew quite a few of the men in the city. So powerful men that could afford her services, the services that she was providing. And so she was actually in a very powerful situation. But they didn't recognize her because she was merely a woman. Just like they didn't recognize that woman that came in and broke that alabaster box and anointed Jesus' head and washed his feet with her hair. They didn't think nothing about her when she was actually preparing him for his burial. She was actually doing a ministerial position. But see, they were looking at, she's a woman of ill repute. Thinking, we looking at men. God is way slicker than that. He's way slicker than that. We looking at, she's nobody, and she was the somebody that walked up in there. And she had to see, another thing is, when you have already been talked to crazy, you're not ashamed of the gospel, because you're not ashamed of anything, because they already called you a hoe. So what else is there to call you? I'm coming in here. I'm going to break this alabaster box. I'm going to anoint my Savior's head. I'm going to wash his feet. I'm going to take my hair and wipe his feet, because they can't talk about me because they already talked about me. So after you call me a this and a that, I still got to go forward. See how that works? The words could not push you back. The woman that had to press through and touch the hem of his garment, she was already classified as unclean. She was already dirty. They already were talking about her. So if they're already talking about you, finish the job. If they're already talking about you, finish your ministry. Go ahead and go forward. If they're already telling you what you can't do, why are you worried about it? Do it. You don't have to please people. And once people have already shown their behind to you, keep going. You don't have to stop. They have already shown you where they're coming from. Good, no problem. I got to keep going. I got a job to do, Nehemiah. I'm not coming off this wall because of what you're talking about. You think you're going to call me, a name, and that's going to hurt my feelings? My feelings got hurt a long time ago, and they have healed, and I'm going to keep going. Okay, so here comes Rahab. She's listening. She knows about the Israelites. She knows they're getting ready to come and clean and just tear up the city. She knows all that because men are coming in and out of where she is, and she has access. Also, she got a view. She could see them. She could see out into the countryside. She can see. And if she couldn't see, they wouldn't have been hanging that red scarf out of her window if she didn't have some ability to be seen and see. If they couldn't see that red scarf, she had to be in a very good strategic place to have all these pieces come together. She had to have a roof. She had to have a place to hide people. She was on the outside of the city, like I said, because she could let the men down. She was strategically there. And she got the information. And she had enough sense to know how to use it. So her negotiation skill, she was past shame, past all that, Rahab is a harlot. That didn't bother her. She was past all that. She was that, they have something called, you've seen the Swiss Army knives they have where you can just do everything. You can go here, you can go there, you can just make it happen. They had the Swiss Army knife was it just had everything. Some women are like that. They gotta figure out, what do I need to be for this particular situation, and how do I need to roll for this particular situation. You see many men and women, men especially in politics, and their wives are behind the scenes. Nancy Reagan, that's what I was gonna. She's another one. She was really, truth be told, she was like the co-president. She was in there. She was protecting her husband. She was very knowledgeable. She was paying attention, and she was looking at him, and she was reading people. Just like Pilate's wife. You better not have nothing to do with that Jesus. I had a dream, this happened, that happened, you better leave him alone. So part of Pilate washing his hands in public and trying to tell people he had nothing to do with it was because his wife was in his ear. He knows his wife is smart. And sometimes I have had clients that I had a different respect for them after I met their wife. Because I figured if you're smart enough to marry a woman that's smart, then you're not stupid. You got good sense. I can tell you can tell a man that marries a partner that can get in the trenches, and if we have to change his tire, then she can hold this and hold that. She ain't gonna sit in the car like some prissy. She gonna get out there, take off her shoes, and get busy. Like, what do we have to do to get this car back on the road? That's your ride or die. That's why it's good to know some things. Women should know some things. You should know how to pull a knife, look at something and figure out how to put it together. It's important. It is important, that because when you're married, you're a bestie. You guys are best friends, and you got to figure some stuff out. So it's good to be a woman, but you think like a man. It's very good. It's very good to know how men think and know how to shut up and listen. It's good to not be so prissy. It's good to have come up with some tough stuff, had to plant and farm and do some of the things you've had to do. And so it's good to know that. So I'm gonna use my mom for example. She's got some kind of green thumb. She can take regular seeds and grow gigantic stuff. I mean, it looks incredible. And she knows how to pick certain plants and how to do this. And she plants gardens and everything grows. And because she grew up farming, so she knows all about that. And she even with her dementia right now, she knows if you ask her, she'll say you have to pick peppermint this kind of way, you have to pick mint that kind of way, you have to plant it this way, you can use it. And it just rattles out. She knows these things. And she's very, very strong. Like, she's little. She's barely 100 pounds, but she could terrorize everybody else in the family. She's very strong for a small person. And so, and she's fierce. And so people go, she still rules, even though she can't remember everything. She still tries. And but the point is, She was raised in Virginia, the country, and then she came to the city. But that country life is a good thing, that knowing how the streets work, knowing how something else works besides, where knowing how dynamics work will serve you very, very well. Um, Case in point, I was listening to one of these recordings, and I noticed that when I start talking, I have a southern drawl. I have never been to the South. There's no reason for me to have a southern drawl. And I'm like laying there going, Lord, do I have to get rid of this southern drawl? What am I doing? And then he reminded me, I thought of Creflo Dollar, Jesse Duplantis, Kenneth Copeland, Billy Graham. All of them had a southern drawl. I said, okay, I'll keep my southern drawl. I don't know where it came from, but it's okay. I got too many other things to worry about that. Listening to the anointing and making sure I say it right, and making sure, and then I start going in deep. And I promise you, I'm not going in deep because of me. It's the Holy Spirit is trying to get to a point. This ministry is specific this ministry is for strong-willed women and men that know something about God but will not get to, but for some reason they won't move to that next level. This is not for newbies. This is not for somebody just knowing the Lord. Trust me, they can't take it. But if this is for the people that know that God is trying to get them off the dime and get that engine on the road, this is for some heavy lifting. That's why I talk to you guys so crazy, because some of you will not hear it no other way. If I say it nice, you'll figure out how it don't apply to you. But it take a bullet right between the eyeballs. I am talking to you. It is that kind of situation. This is that kind of ministry. This is not for the faint at heart. That's why you always hear me talking about women and people that have come from difficult backgrounds, because God brought you through something because you're going to have to move something. God brought you through something because you're going to have to be something. So he has girded you. You are made that way for a reason. If you feel like you're stubborn for a reason. You got that edge for a reason. So don't worry about it. Let me tell you, I have my cousin. He went to Harvard. He went to Stanford and Harvard. This is a long story, but I'm not going to go all into detail. But he went to high school at Compton High School. Compton High School is just, my God. Compton High School is just, I don't even know what to tell you. It was like, I don't even know what other, it's like one of the worst schools. I'm not saying that now. I don't know what the school is now, but back in the day, it was a rough high school. And then he wound up he told his counselor, she said, where do you want to go to school? He said, I want to go to Stanford and Harvard. And she goes, those schools aren't for people like you. So he had to apply on his own because his counselor wouldn't do it. He got into Stanford, got into Harvard. And so when it came time that he didn't forget where he came from. When it came time that one of his employees, he was running a department at some major company, was down in the garage area, in the big crate area, the shipping area, talking crazy to him in the camera, come down here, do that, talking smack. He didn't understand. This man went to Compton High, so you don't call this one out, because he said, I took my jacket off, rolled up my sleeves, and I went down there and said, what's up? Because see, he didn't understand. I could scrap down here, or we can talk up in the boardroom, whichever way you want it. Because see, I have covered both sides. And that's the good thing about knowing something about something, not just everything was all handed to you. Sometimes it's good to have gotten something from scratch. It's good to know how to make bread from scratch. Somebody says, we don't have no Jiffy Mix. We don't have any bread. I didn't go to the store. Do you have some flour? Do you have some eggs? Do we have some? Okay, I can make some biscuits. No worries. I could get in that kitchen and knock some biscuits out with what you got in that cabinet. See, it's good to know some things. So here we go. We're going to go a little bit over. So Rahab was having to negotiate a deal with these two spies that came in. So she must have seen him come in. She must have had access. She must have been like the one that can see and have access to what's going on. And she met them and hid them and told them, I know who you are. I know what you're getting ready to do. I'm going to cut you a deal. I will hide you. But when your people come in to do what you're getting ready to do, you're going to have to save my family. Rahab negotiated for her entire family. She was negotiating for the bloodline of Jesus. Little did she know at the time. But Rahab hooked it up. And Joshua was a man of his word, and Rahab was a woman of her word. And here we go. Here we had it. They had a deal. And she went and I'm going to get to Abigail because Abigail is funny to me. But Rahab cut a deal. Hold on, let me find out. Somebody put yourself on mute. But Rahab cut a deal. She negotiated, and she had been negotiating with men. She wasn't scared of no men. Men's the good English. She wasn't scared of them. She negotiated. She negotiates all the time. And she of this is how this is getting ready to go. I need you guys to be at my house at 2 a.m. Don't say nothing. Don't tell nobody. Don't take no clothes. Don't tell your friends. Just be at my house. And she had to go tell her family to shut up and do what I'm telling you to do. Just like Harry Tubman and many different ones. Shh, do it like I'm telling you. And then that's how she got it done. Tomorrow we will start with Abigail. But Rahab negotiated a whole scenario, saved a bloodline that changed the world. And she did it because she was in position and she knew how that particular terrain worked. She knew how to do it. And that's how it got done. So don't despise small beginnings. You don't know why God is bringing you up through something to get to something else. You don't know why he's bringing you up through it. Everything I've had to learn has served me well now. I didn't want to learn it then, and I tell everybody, if I hadn't have gone through it, I'm not the type of person I would have been voluntarily marching and talking about human rights. I would not have been. I would not have been uncomfortable for anything. I would have been comfortable, and like I said, I would have been reading about the poor little people while I was on the beach, reading it on the newspaper. I would not have See, he said she's got to be in it. I have to put her right in it so that she will understand what it is and she will fight her way out of it. But I got to put her in it because otherwise she ain't going to voluntarily jump in. I wasn't that person. So, but because I was that, because I had to go through it, that's why. That's why we have the understanding. We have both sides of the fence now. So let me go ahead and pray, and then we're going to do part 2 tomorrow. And I don't know what the title is going to be, but Wise Women is a part of it, and I don't know what the title is going to be, but it'll be something dealing with women. It'll be something dealing with wisdom. It'll be something dealing with don't despise small beginnings. And, the country, just the country roads, don't despise them. Don't despise them. They serve you well. So let me pray, and then we're going to do part 2 tomorrow.